There was actually, and I love this story of how it all came to be. So like I mentioned earlier, I was working in nonprofit sector for an awesome organization where we did a lot of neighborhood and community organizing, working with neighborhood associations, throwing block parties. So already I'm in community organizing events. But I was also volunteering for the West Side Neighborhood Board. So I'd go to meetings, I'd hear concerns, we'd plan events. Well, COVID happened, and all of a sudden, these musicians that I had been going to see at the local restaurants and bars, and we actually had some jazz clubs in the past in Colorado Springs. We don't currently. Um, so those bands I had just gotten to know because I had been watching live music for the last several years, they started reaching out and saying, "Oh my gosh, Sarah, can we play in the park? Like this jazz club closed down, we can't be inside, all this stuff." And I'm sitting here like, well, I'm a volunteer. I know how to pull a permit to use the park. Let's do it. So I started booking music outside in Bancroft Park in Old Colorado City. But there's a specific moment where I had just gone back to Ohio for my 20-year high school reunion.
Okay.
And my dad was like, "Hey, you're booking the big band. Here's some of Grandpa's handwritten on pencil and paper compositions for big bands." And if you don't know what a big band is, it's a 16-piece band. So it's like five saxophones, five trumpets, trombones, bass, guitar, keys, sometimes a singer. So it's many different moving parts. And my dad was like, "Here, take these six compositions back with you to Colorado and see if the big band will play it in the park." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I'm so excited." But this is like fragile paper. So I made copies at the library to make sure the original stayed with me. But I asked the big band, it was in August of, and I always forget the year because I just don't know the years anymore, but I think it was August of 2021.
Okay.
Anyway, um, I invited all my friends, the park was packed, and the big band played my grandpa's music.
Wow.
And that moment, there's a picture of me on my Instagram that and somebody took it, and I'm just smiling, I'm just glowing, and I'm like, this is what it's all about because it was community, it was jazz, it was my grandpa, it was gathering in a community park. And in that moment, I was just like, I got to do this. This is what I got to do. Like, I am so happy, and everyone else is happy because I love looking around and seeing everyone else having fun too. And so that was the pivotal moment. And it took me about 6 to 8 more months before I launched my business from that date. I ended up taking some business classes to learn how to start a business because, again, I'm a nonprofit girl. I don't know how to do for profit, and I'm not a booking agent or a promoter. I was just a volunteer, booking the music that I liked.
Okay.
um, so I had to learn a lot about writing a business plan, um, becoming an LLC. And honestly, when I first was taking those business classes, I wanted to start a jazz club because at that point, the jazz clubs had closed. And I was like, I want to do a jazz club. But then I realized I don't have $1 million. I don't know how to run a bar and restaurant. So, so I backed off that dream initially and was just like, you know what? I'm just going to do pop-ups as I initially called those, which just meant I was popping up in venues, in parks. I was booking music around town. But yeah, just to go back to your question, that night in August, that was the launching
Wow.
point for I gotta follow this dream. This feels too good not to be pursued.
Wow, that is such a touching story. I was getting chills, which I know you were probably thinking back and even telling it.
It's so special. And I know big band and jazz are very niche, but it was like music was just one of the elements that night. Another element was family, but another element was just taking it back to like childhood and just the basic ingredients of happiness and just like just hanging out in the park with your friends, you know. So I just loved that feeling of just everybody hanging out and having a good time.
Right. And I can picture some of the feelings of being where your parents were in the orchestra pit and you watching,
Hmm.
kind of similar to this, but the fact that they were playing your grandfather's
Hmm.
original written music, oh my
Hmm.
gosh.
So
I,
cool. Yeah.
I hope they
Yeah, and
recorded it.
I recorded some of it because my grandma is still alive. She is 96, I think. So I got to share that with her, which was really cool. She got to watch from back home. So that was just really special. Yeah, it was very meaningful.
I can't even picture. One of my all-time favorite movies is Mr. Holland's Opus.
Oh yeah. Man, I haven't seen that in forever.
Yeah, I know. But that was a Mr. Holland's Opus moment for sure, even though it wasn't your grandfather there, for you being part of the family. That was exactly when, at the end, when all of his students came back,
Yep,
even though they
yep,
were senators and all kinds of stuff, and
yeah.
played his music. It
Hmm.
gives me a Mr. Holland's Opus moment for sure.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yep, exactly. It's so fun. It's so fun to see even now of like how it's grown and changed. But that, yeah, that was the moment that I was like,
Wow.
this is what I want to do.
Yeah. And was that
So,
in Bancroft Park?
yes, it was. Yep, on the
Okay.
west side. Yeah.
Yep. And I know you do more stuff there that we'll talk about in just a minute. And I don't know if the rest of this interview we could top that story.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
That was a great one. So
Yeah.
you created your business and